we got Lost Soul Aside new gameplay footage leaked. Not leaked. There's I think some Asian YouTubers have been able to get their hands on the game, and there's a significant amount of footage circulating in YouTube at the moment. So I have started watching it. I haven't actually watched the whole thing, so we'll look at it together and see what's up. It's been a while. If you don't know what that is, it's a game that's been developed by a single person, which is very impressive. But it was so impressive that Sony ended up backing up the game, and now it's been Sony's developing, publishing that game. And it's a Chinese developer who's working on that game, and it looks fantastic. It looks very promising, and very, very keen to see more of it. So let's get into that. And there's a whole lot of Sony news. Speaking of Sony, a whole lot of Sony news. There's a talk about them going multi-platform. They're suing Tencent of all companies, and there's a whole other related news with Switch 2. My God, there's a whole lot there. And the Steam news that we should get through. There's a hot topic going around with Steam about the payment portals being affected, and they're being pressured to taking off adult content from Steam, which is pissing off a lot of people. I can see why. And how they're questioning how much an influence that they have. And there's Battlefield multiplayer reveals coming up in a day, like tomorrow, which is fantastic. I'm so keen for that. There's more Warner Brothers news. Yeah, and there's some weird stories that I also picked up that I want to bring your attention to. So let's jump into it. All right, so let's jump into Lost Soul Aside gameplay. So this is the gameplay that they have released. So let's just have a quick look. You're not obviously, we're not going to understand what they're talking about. But this is some of the gameplay footage that's been released. I'll see if we can. There's no subtitles or anything, so I have no idea what they're saying. So it's this player called A9VG, an Asian YouTuber who got their hands on the game, and he's just explaining what's happening. It looks fantastic, doesn't it? Yeah. And the game looks fun. So this is very much like a Stellar Blade DMC sort of mashup title, and I heard that the developer who's making this game is a huge fan of Final Fantasy. That's why apparently the character looks very much like a Final Fantasy person. It looks very interesting. And as far as I know, it's gonna be fast, skill-based combat, and there's a lot of light, heavy attacks, and long, short presses, that sort of thing, and special ability cooldowns. As you can see, there's a cooldown happening here, and basically, perfect dodges and parries. Just that scene is in here, which is very good. And it's not a Souls-like. It's not a Souls-like. It is more in the vein of like DMC, doing skill combos, attack combos, and that sort of type of stuff. Looks like a solid game. Yeah. There's a lot of freedom of movement in combat, which I'm really digging. And it's going to be fantastic. Yeah.
这也符合游戏幻想风的主题，个人甚至觉得有时候有些过满了。
Yeah.
尤其是在闪避和防御的时候，有些小小的影响视觉判断。
I don't know what he's saying. I have no idea what he's saying. But from what I know, I did some research and there's a lot of weapon varieties, not just swords. It's gonna be sickles, lances, even some projectiles for range combat. Long range, and there's gonna be weapon fragments like stat boost and appearance changes and stuff like that, which is awesome. And obviously there's gonna be a skill tree of some sort. There's a crafting system for potions and buffs, I think, and also there's gonna be transmog. Thank God, transmog. I love when games do transmog, because you know how there was a time where you couldn't do transmog. There was no such a thing called transmog in games for cosmetic customization, so you were just walking around wearing the most random shit and like most mismatching things in RPGs and just like an idiot. I love that they have the transmog system, which is awesome. Well thought out. Well thought out. And it's not open world, it's linear, mission-based levels, not open world. But as you can see, they look like some of the areas might be like sandboxes where you can just go off and explore a little bit. By the look of it, I might be wrong. It could be just like huge boss arenas and that's it, but it would be nice to have some sandbox in those levels. And yeah, there's a lot of puzzles and collectibles and optional upgrades, just the usual package for a game like this. So yeah, and yeah, that's it. I mean, it's very interesting. I think this is coming. There's a reveal, the proper reveal coming in China Joy Festival in August. There is like a game fest thing happening in China. There'll be a full reveal in there, and which I'm keen to see. Hopefully there will be no more delays, but I understand it's there is a team behind it, but it's essentially started with a solo person, and it's a fairly small team working on this, so I understand. Yeah, I mean, what do you think of this game? Tell me what you guys think, because I think this game looks fantastic. Does it look like the best game, like in terms of visuals? Probably not. But does it look like a 2025 game? Yeah, I think so. I think it looks like a 2025 game. What do you think of like are you cool with the linear levels, with this, as long as the combat is fine? For me, I think for a game like this, I actually enjoy having it linear rather than just having to explore every nook and cranny. Because it's the main star of the game usually for games like this. It's the combat. The combat is the one that keeps you going, and if the combat is shit, it doesn't matter whether it's linear or open world, you're just not going to be able to play, right? So I think it's a good decision that they made to keep it linear and not worry too much about how much player choice do we have, blah blah blah, like all that stuff. Doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's what I think. So yeah, do you guys think this is gonna be a day one buy for you? I mean, it's a lot like Final Fantasy, Devil May Cry energy. If you're into that sort of stuff, you should definitely buy this day one. I think you'll have a lot of fun with this game. It looks like a pretty solid game. I can't say anything wrong with it from the surface and based on the gameplay footage that's been released, I can't really, you know, I don't think there will be any issues with that, but we never know. I'm probably gonna wait for a review and see how it is before I dig in. But yeah, is it a day one buy for you? You wait for reviews, or are you gonna wait for a sale for the price to drop and, you know, check it out later, or wait for it to come out on I don't know, Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus to play it? Let me know what's your take on this. So yeah, it's an interesting little game